March 20th in history. In 1345, medieval Europe trembled beneath uncertain skies. Scholars and clergy watched the heavens, convinced that the cosmos held the fate of nations in its slow, turning dance. On March 20, 1345, Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars aligned. Paris's Faculty of Medicine declared this triple conjunction the cosmic cause of a deadly pestilence spreading from the east. Though astronomically wrong, this belief shaped plague response across Europe, quarantines, public health edicts, and the first coordinated medical policies all followed. Modern epidemiology was born from this error. In 1602, the Netherlands was a rising maritime power. Amsterdam's harbor buzzed with ships and merchants hungry for the riches of Asia. On March 20, 1602, the Dutch States General merged rival trading companies into one, the VOC, the world's first publicly traded multinational corporation. The VOC pioneered stock markets, shareholder capitalism, and global trade, shaping the modern world economy for better and worse. In 1727, London. Sir Isaac Newton, the towering genius who unlocked the laws of nature, lay dying at age 84 in Kensington. On March 20, Newton passed peacefully in his sleep. He left behind laws of motion and universal gravitation that explained how every object in the cosmos moves. Newton's discoveries ignited the Industrial Revolution and still guide spacecraft today. He is buried with kings at Westminster Abbey. In 1815, Europe held its breath. Napoleon Bonaparte, exiled to the island of Elba, had escaped and was marching north through France toward Paris. On March 20th, Napoleon entered Paris in triumph. King Louis XVIII fled into the night, and crowds filled the streets to welcome their emperor home to the Tuileries Palace. The 100 Days had begun, but Europe united against him, and just 3 months later, Waterloo ended Napoleon's rule forever, reshaping the continent's borders and politics for generations. In 1852, America was bitterly divided over slavery. Harriet Beecher Stowe, a Northern abolitionist, had spent a year serializing a powerful story that was about to change the nation. On March 20, 1852, Uncle Tom's Cabin was published as a complete novel. It sold 300,000 copies in its first year, becoming the 19th century's best-selling book. The novel galvanized the Northern abolitionist movement and inflamed Southern fury. It is widely cited as a catalyst that accelerated America's path to the Civil War. In 1854, tensions over slavery gripped America. Anti-slavery activists across the North were searching for a political home to stand against the spread of bondage. On March 20th, abolitionists and Whigs gathered inside a Ripon schoolhouse, formally declaring the birth of the Republican Party, united by one cause: stopping slavery's expansion. Within 6 years, the party elected Abraham Lincoln president, fracturing the nation into civil war and ultimately ending slavery forever in America. In 1916, Europe was consumed by war. Yet in Berlin, a solitary physicist was quietly rewriting the laws of the universe itself. On March 20th, Einstein submitted his paper presenting general relativity, redefining gravity not as a force, but as the curvature of spacetime. General relativity transformed physics forever. It underlies GPS satellites, black hole imaging, and our entire understanding of the cosmos. In 1922, the United States Navy stood at a crossroads. At Norfolk, Virginia, a humble coal ship was about to be reborn as something the world had never seen. On March 20, 1922, USS Langley CV-1 was commissioned, a coal collier converted into America's first aircraft carrier, its flat wooden flight deck ready to launch a new era of naval warfare. Langley's legacy proved decisive. Carrier aviation would dominate World War II's Pacific theater, permanently replacing battleships as the cornerstone of naval power worldwide. In 1948, Berlin lay divided among 4 Allied powers: America, Britain, France, and the Soviet Union, each governing a fractured, war-scarred city still smoldering from defeat. Soviet Marshal Sokolovsky abruptly rose from the council table, gathered his papers, and walked out, ending 4-power rule of Germany forever and shattering the last pretense of Allied unity. 3 months later, the Soviets blockaded West Berlin entirely. The walkout had cracked the world in two, East and West, a divide that would endure for 40 years. In 2000, Pope John Paul II landed in Tel Aviv, beginning a historic pilgrimage to the Holy Land, the first papal visit in 36 years. At the Western Wall in Jerusalem, the Pope placed a handwritten prayer of forgiveness into the ancient stones, a profound gesture of reconciliation between the Church and the Jewish people. The pilgrimage reshaped Catholic-Jewish relations and stands as one of the most significant papal journeys of the 20th century, its message of reconciliation echoing to this day. In 2015, a rare triple alignment graced the sky, a total solar eclipse coinciding with the spring equinox, and a supermoon unseen since 1662. Totality swept over the Faroe Islands and Svalbard. Hundreds of millions across Europe watched the sun vanish, plunging midday into sudden, eerie darkness. The event captivated modern astronomy and reminded millions that celestial mechanics still hold power to unite humanity under one sky. In 2016, decades of Cold War silence between the United States and Cuba were finally breaking. A historic journey was about to begin. President Barack Obama landed in Havana, the first sitting U.S. president to set foot on Cuban soil in 88 years, greeted by rain and history. The visit signaled a new era, lifting hopes for normalized relations and inspiring millions on both sides of the Florida Strait.